Hey, Andrew, I brought you mustard for your hot dog.
That's the limousine mustard. That's the spicy brown deli mustard. Now that's the backyard barbecue mustard.
I don't think I'm telling tales out of school when I mention that Andrew has been recently posting branding tips on social media sites on the internet.
It's true.
And in one of those posts, he mentioned that branding is about the perception of your product, not making the best product. So Ryan responded with this question. Isn't it important to have the best product?
That's a great question, Ryan. Now, look, it's important to have a good product, maybe even the best product. Nothing will kill a bad product faster than good marketing.
Oh, wait a minute. You're going to have to explain that one.
Well, if you have good marketing, what happens?
Your product sells.
Yeah, more people buy your product. And what happens if you have a lousy product?
It's the kiss of death.
It's the kiss of death because people will stop buying the product and they'll tell their friends that you don't have a very good product. Yeah. But branding strategy is about giving people a reason to buy your product instead of the competition's in the first place. It's about creating a perception of difference.
It's about answering the question, why you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And let me give you an example of some products and services that use this kind of a perception as their brand strategy. I'm in a mustardy mood this morning because I had a hot dog last night. So let's talk about mustard branding. There's a couple of big major brands of mustard. There's French's and Grey Poupon. Now, if these two brands simply said, we have great mustard or we have the best mustard, how effective would they be?
It wouldn't be very effective. They're both saying the same thing.
Exactly. They'd be making exactly the same claims. And because as consumers over the years, we've heard that claim so often by different products and services and been disappointed so often, we just don't believe it anymore. So here's the kind of brand strategy and perceptions that French's and Grey Poupon have created. French's has created a perception of the family, fun, picnic and barbecue mustard. Even their bright yellow plastic bottle conveys that image.
It's the mustard you have in your backyard.
Grey Poupon, on the other hand, has created an upper crust image, a high-end gourmet perception. Their glass bottle, even the color of the mustard supports that image.
It's the mustard you have in the back of your limousine. Another good example would be Microsoft and Apple.
That is a good example. So what would the differences in perception be with those two companies?
Well, when it comes to Microsoft, you think of business, conservative and traditional. And when it comes to Apple, you think in terms of younger and innovative and creative.
Another example is in the field of motorcycles. Harley-Davidson versus basically every other Japanese motorcycle. Harley, it's an interesting story. That company was in trouble. They were in danger of actually going out of business in the 80s.
I remember.
And because of the flood of Japanese imported bikes, the Japanese bikes were manufactured at a lower cost and they were very advanced technically. But Harley understood by positioning themselves differently from the Japanese bikes, they could grow their business. That's exactly what they did. Here's the brand strategy they followed. Harley has created a perception of rugged independence, patriotism, even a rebel spirit, versus the perception of Japanese bikes being foreign, lightweight, and just not for serious bikers.
Now, a lot of people understand the need for this perception of difference, but find that very hard to do. So what approach would you suggest?
Well, it can be hard to do. So here's a way you can look at it that might make it easier and even fun. Think of your product or service as a person.
Oh, that's a new one.
And what kind of personality would your product or service have? Would it be snooty and upper crust? Or would it be down to earth and friendly? What kind of clothes would your product or service wear? Would they be in jeans or would it be in a fancy suit?
Yeah, you might want to think back to your days in high school where there was the class valedictorian, the most likely to succeed.
The star quarterback.
Yeah.
So if you think of your product or service in these terms, what kind of person What kind of personality would it have? And then try to communicate that personality through your marketing. You'll create this perception of difference.
This reminds me of the exercise that they give to writers to help them flesh out the characters that they're going to use in their stories. So, what's our action step?
Well, our action step is this. Draw a picture or write a paragraph that describes the personality of your product or service.
So Ryan, it's important to remember that being best is one thing, but being different is everything.
That's right. And if you can remember that, you'll be well on your way to giving people a reason to buy from you rather than your competition. Thanks for being with us this week. We'll see you next week. I'm Andrew Sokol.
And I'm Mike Krieger.
Take care.
Bye-bye.